Exmortus, a young, very talented group from right here in America. It's been requested by Michael from over at the Patreon page here during 24 Hours of CKN that we talk a little bit about this band, that we perhaps give them a bit of a band review, which is something that we haven't done in quite some time. I'm going to try to keep this a little brief, considering we did just talk about this band with their new album here in 2016 entitled Ride Forth, back whenever it was released. I'm going to leave a link for you guys to check out that review. And anybody who wants to become a patron and have your ideas potentially transformed into a CKN video, there's a link down there in the description box for you to follow to make that a reality. Now, Exmortus is a group that is able to blend thrash metal with a little bit of death metal. There's some neoclassical that's in there based off of the way in which these guys play. They have a lot of talent, and it's something that is honestly appreciated by, I think, too few individuals out there. It seems as though the more that these guys get exposed to a larger and larger audience, sort of bumping up a little bit as they go, they tend to bring more followers to their camp as opposed to leave them sort of in the dust. They just sort of have a great moxie behind them. And really, whenever they got started with their first release back in 2008, I guess would have been the best way to phrase that, In Hatred's Flame being the name of the record, it was something that started and sparked a little bit of a buzz, and it was only furthered by Beyond the Fall of Time in 2011. And this was one of those groups that was being coupled sort of with the same crop that was the Municipal Wastes and the and others like it of the world. And I don't mean that to say that they are of the same vein or variety, but instead they were sort of being seen by the modern youth as sort of the next wave of heavy metal, and they were discovering some of these lesser knowns that were either located in their area and touring the local area, either that, or we're just finding them by browsing on, whether it be YouTube or at that time back then, it may have even have been MySpace. So we had this crop that was coming up that was being really driven by some of heavy metal's newest members, the newest parts of their membership, some of the newest drives, either that or those who have lived in metal households throughout the entire course of their young lives. And that's something that is extremely neat to see as an older heavy metal fan, and one that traditionally sees what the sort of the followers of heavy metal really go after, and that of course being the bigger bands of that nature. I remember that this band was originally shown to me by a good friend of mine who lives out in California, and he was very, very happy with what he heard from Exmortus and felt that I would enjoy it, and actually shared a couple of links with me in order to sort of get my feet wet. And it's amazing, actually, that here in 2016, I believe this is the first time we've ever talked about Exmortus, though for some strange reason Slave to the Sword is really coming to mind. It may have just been one that I had missed, which is a shame, because Ride Forth was able to provide some really good steps, although some people are saying that some of the gloss of this band is wearing off a bit, which is kind of a shame considering the talent is certainly present. Their tight songwriting is one of their best real allies, and this was an album where they were able to take that to the next level and sample with some longer product, and by doing so they actually captivate a little bit more, considering with longer songs you have the ability to let compositions breathe a little bit. Either that, or it gives you more time just to sort of go crazy and showcase some of your abilities. It gives you a lot of creative reign whenever you are behind the songwriter's pen. And I think Exmortus really took advantage of this a little bit on Ride Forth, and I think it's something that going forward they're going to approach with a little bit more fluency. It's going to be something where it's going to come a bit more naturally, and they have the opportunity, and they have really the skill and the ability to write some fierce and fantastic epics. I would really like to see where this band goes from here, considering 4 albums in, they're already a group that has a pretty well-established fan base, but could easily be taken higher. So my hope is that if you're out there here in 24 Hours land, because we are right in the heart of 24 Hours of CKN, if you haven't checked out Exmortus as of yet, and you are a fan of thrash metal, of death metal, if you like good guitar work that sort of at times borders on over-the-top heroics, really give these guys a try. There's plenty of available options for you to do that, whether it be on YouTube or streaming services such as Spotify, or just go out and purchase the record. Give the record a shot. There's one thing I don't hear enough about here in 2016 are people making blind purchases and just trying something out because it has a hell of a cool cover, which Exmortus does have some pretty cool covers. Either that or just because something about the overall package really captivated them. So do yourself the favor, give Exmortus a real shot. They have a real bright future ahead of them, and their membership has remained solid throughout, which is kind of a rarity these days, so it's to be respected. Check these guys out, and whenever you do, let me know in the comments below what you think about this group. If you already know about them and already, have an opinion on them, feel free also to let the world know, the nation know, your thoughts on Exmortus. Thanks once again for the fantastic suggestion, and thanks for being a patron, Michael. I really appreciate it. You were saying that you have an association with the group. Do me a favor and send me a feeler. I would definitely like to perhaps talk with them in the future and kind of get their thoughts and takes on how their career is going, and maybe just have a little bit of fun. I don't want to talk just about the, just shop the whole entire time. I want to know the bullshit they do just for fun, whenever they're waiting to go on stage, either that or whenever it's a day off. I think that'd be a really fun interview. What do you guys think? If you'd like to see an Exmortus interview, let me know in the comments below as well. I'm CKN. I'll talk to each and every one of you guys next time. See you later.